Cruiser One, welcome aboard. My name is Joseph James, schooltrade.com, sidewaysmarkets.com. It's October 11th, 2010, guys. Happy Turkey Day. Happy Thanksgiving to you guys. If you're celebrating a holiday today, of course, our neighbors to the north and most of Europe today celebrating Thanksgiving. We have the here in the U.S. celebrating Columbus Day here, guys. So happy holiday to you guys. You guys know banks were open. Bond markets were closed today. But, of course, we were here trading. Everything else was open today, though. Before we talk about the trades we took today, guys, I want to remind you guys about our blog. On our blog, you get a couple of great things on the blog, guys. First of all, don't forget, follow the blog. If you follow the blog, you'll get all the new updates. You got trade room resources up top, and you got webinars up top, right? So tutorials and live webinars, all right, guys? Those will be right up top here, right? Click the top there, guys, upper right-hand corner, trade room resources, right, and live webinars, right? Those are going to be two great sections for you guys to know. Now, under Trade Room Resources, you're going to get a lot of questions answered that we cover in the room. Okay, so use the Trade Room Resources section. Lots of videos, articles, live trade calls, all there, guys, under Trade Room Resources. All right, guys, let's keep moving. We do today 2, 4, 6, 8, 9 total trades. Now, we took our time this morning because it was a holiday, so we didn't really get going until about 9:45 today. All right, kind of went through the motions, took some time, looked at the dollar, looked at the gold, the crude. I also went through and set up a brand new workspace with you guys this morning too. So we took some time this morning to kind of go through the motions, our morning routine, getting things ready to go. We then started seeing things move a little bit later on in the morning once the dollar moved for us. As you can see, there are 9 total trades, 2, 4, 6, 8, 9 total trades, 99 ticks. As you can see, we had a pretty tough, pretty challenging day, right? 3 losses. Well, one was a scratch on gold. Took 2 losses on crude though. That's going to happen, guys. And as you can see here, we made the money back pretty easily. So 99 ticks, 990 USD. We took a couple losses, right, thrown in there as well on crude and gold. Brings our weekly total to 990, our monthly total 12,800, and of course yearly total here, guys, 162,000 for the year. We'll keep you guys posted the rest of the month. Now, of course, once again, happy Thanksgiving, right? Happy Columbus Day. It was a holiday today. Markets were open, but very slow. Now, we paid close attention to the best patterns this morning. That's the best way to handle a day like today. On a day like today, we want to step back for a moment and look at your charts and think where, if I could pick a place on my chart, where would be the best place for an entry? And that's what I want to wait for today, right? Forget about trying to force trades. Forget about higher risk trades, guys. Forget about cheating. Okay, today was a day where you had to really follow your rules, right? So what I would do is open up a daily chart, open up your fast chart, right? Open up your slow and your fast. Look at the big picture. Okay, look at a 34 range, look at a daily chart, look at an hourly chart, look at a slower time frame. Okay, where would you want to be in short? Where would you want to be in long? And then wait for the market to come to you. Now that, of course, is really just for days like today where we've got a lot of concern about the lack of volume, right? So holiday, Monday morning, right? Obviously had a good holiday, but we knew things were going to be slow. So we want to pay close attention to the best patterns. Now we saw a sideways dollar. Okay, the dollar broke the lows, so it was an outside day in the dollar today, but it came right back up, and then eventually it went sideways. But at the end of the morning, the dollar jumped to the upside, right? When the dollar jumps, everything else moved as well, so that was a good opportunity for us to be trading. We had a wedge pattern on gold. Okay, a wedge pattern. We're going to sell the highs, buy the lows. It's a wedge pattern. It's a really easy pattern. It's a low volume pattern. We sold the highs, we bought the lows wonderfully on gold today, and don't forget, we had a sideways, sloppy and choppy day on crude oil. Made some money on it, gave it back, made some money, gave it back. Kind of a 50-50 day on crude today because it was a sideways range. So we had lots of opportunities. Let's grab a look at the dollar first, though, because the dollar was really what kind of gave us the heads up today. As you can see here, my dollar, what do you guys see? Right, what do you guys see? Well, first of all, I'm going to compare today's range to yesterday's range. Right, so there's today's range compared to yesterday's range. There's yesterday's range. And so you can see here, we have a couple things to kind of speculate here. First of all, we're trading below the range from yesterday's. This is called an outside day. All right. It then curled back up, went into the range from yesterday, and became an inside day. Right. So it started off as an outside day, then became an inside day. Okay. We also can see here this market going sideways. There's no trend. Now, guys, how can I tell when the market is no trend? Double tops, double bottoms. That's one. Okay, what else would the market tell me? How do I know if the market is no trend? Yep, two tops and bottoms, absolutely. What else would tell me no trend? A flat trigger line, absolutely, flat trigger line. Okay, so this trigger line Okay, once it flattens out, that tells me I've got a sideways range. And then look what else you can see here, right? This is a very narrow trading range. Okay, look at the difference. Compare the range yesterday on Friday, and then compare that same range here today, right? A whole lot narrower. So we're sideways because we have no trend, flat trigger line, double tops, double bottoms. All right, we have an outside day that turned into an inside day. So we had a little bit of movement at the beginning of the morning as the dollar drops. Then the dollar rises, goes sideways. We have some trouble there, obviously, right? Choppy sideways dollar. That's going to equal choppy sideways everything else. And then what happened later on in the morning was it actually ended up breaking these highs, coming up, testing this trend line high, and hanging out there too. But a very narrow trading range as well. So three things, right? Narrow range, sideways market, inside day, or outside day turned inside. So these were three things that really told us we got to, again, look for the perfect patterns, right? Look for our patterns. Let's not go forcing anything this morning. It's going to put us in a bad position, right? That's my dollar. Now let's look at crude. Okay, our first trade of the day here was on crude, guys. And so the first trade of the day on crude, this is what we call a horseshoe pattern. Now, what's a horseshoe pattern? Follow me down bottom here. What's a horseshoe pattern? A horseshoe pattern is when we have, and again, it looks like a horseshoe. We'll have some sort of high being made. We'll come down, and we'll then begin to move up, right? We then come tumbling back down. Okay, this is called the horseshoe pattern. What I'm going to do is I'm going to mark up my swing high and then mark up other swing highs, right? And use those now for my trend lines, just like this. All right? So now as the price starts coming down, it's going to start running into, right, all of these trend lines here, right? Provide support there, provide support there, right? So that's the idea of the horseshoe pattern. And you can see here on my 34 range chart, you can see my horseshoe pattern here has been well defined, right? So here's my sideways range in red, right? There's my sideways range. You can see I've drawn a couple of these trend lines here coming up from the highs here, right? A couple of these trend lines here coming down from these highs. And you can see here we're going to bump into, right, swing high there, swing high there, swing high there. All right, now what ended up happening today was the crude market ended up bouncing off the 32s, which is exactly why we're going to buy the support. It then rattled off the high of this trend line here and then went sideways here around the 82s. Okay, so we basically filled in this open area here between these two trend lines. All right, guys, but our first trade came from buying support, right? We're going to buy those lows. Now, guys, remember, guys, when it comes to a sideways range like this, right? When it comes to a sideways range like this, we are off the highs and we're not at the lows. Okay, we're not at the highs, so we're not looking to sell the highs. We're not at the lows. We're not quite looking to buy the lows. In the big picture here, right, if you got your highs up here, your lows down here, we are right here, right? We're right in the middle. So a sideways range in the middle of the big picture tells me I can either be a buyer or a seller. I really don't have any bias one side or the other. If it was at the highs, I want to be selling the highs. If I was at the lows, I want to be buying the lows. Here, though, I get a sideways range, classic sideways range. I'm going to be a buyer at the lows, seller at the highs. And you can see here, we've got all kinds of levels, right? 82.32, 71, 11s. All of these levels are marked up for me automatically. Now what I do is I buy the support, I sell the, right? I sell the resistance. Now we didn't spend too much time trading today. We got started a little bit late. And then we got off to, of course, a slow start because of the holiday, and then we had an early close. So we really didn't have much, a very big window. We usually will trade from 8 o'clock, right, all the way to about noontime, right? Well, this time it was from 10 o'clock until about 11 o'clock, right? So we didn't have a very big window of opportunity here to work with. Now remember, sideways ranges, I'm going to buy the lows, sell the highs.